What is up, you guys? I'm fucking tired, but we gotta make this YouTube video. So, over this past week, I had a reflection, just mainly because I was running I was running like 5 miles or some shit. Just a little mini training day, and I get a text from this kid I haven't talked to in a while. I met him through mutual friends, just online. We haven't even met in person, but he said, "Hey, bro, I just wanted to say thank you for inspiring me. I just ran a marathon. I wanted to do something big going into the new year. So on New Year's Eve, the day before January 1st, he spent the entire morning and through the afternoon just fucking running a marathon with no previous training, bro. That's insane. He was like, dude, you fired me up, and I basically showed him something that was just like everyone's scrolling through their feed that day, just coming across my shit, my 100-mile post, with the caption just saying 100 miles in 26 hours, 39 minutes, first place for the age 25 and under male running group. Bro, when you see that, it's just like a fucking, it's like a pattern disrupt. People are like, what the fuck? How the fuck is that possible? I shattered a lot of beliefs for a lot of people, and it's really awesome to see that just spiral. Like I said, my brain's fucking gone right now. It's really cool seeing that just drip into other people's lives too. It's like a ripple effect, And on top of that, I've got 3 people in my coaching who are all running 100-mile or all running marathons within the next few months. One of them, Miguel, he's from Colombia, and he's living in Canada right now. He's running as his first marathon in March. My other client, Charlie, he's gonna be running a marathon early March as well. And then my other client, Louis, also from Canada, he has a fucking 6-figure window washing business. This savage, bro, he's doing the same exact route that I did. I started running in the start of the end of December into January of last year. So by January 2024, I was consistently running, and then I ran my first marathon February 15th, Fort Lauderdale, LNA. He's running the same motherfucking marathon that I ran a year later. And then he's gonna run the same 50-miler that I ran, the Keys 100. That's what you call it. It's called the Keys 100, but it's a 50-miler. He's about to run that bitch, and then he's gonna run the Daytona 100. The same exact plan that I did. All the fucking amazing feelings that I got from all the fulfillment and peace that I got from running these crazy ass ultra marathons, all the mental toughness that I gained along the way to be able to prepare for these races and actually execute on them. I'm able to pass along that same amazing feeling that's changed my life to someone else in the exact same blueprint that I did it. Same exact races, the same timeline, the fact that he's starting in January, I started in January of last year, the fact that he's running the same exact marathon, the same 50-miler, and the same 100-miler. It's so cool, bro, because this running stuff, it changed my life, and now I'm able to show other people how to do it exactly the same, bro. It's so cool. But my whole point, as I was reflecting on all that, is the fact that now I'm starting to have a big influence on people, these are real tangible results that are getting changed in people's lives, running marathons. It's kind of a big thing. Running a marathon for not the average person who ran a marathon. It's a big influence to be able to share on to someone. And the whole thing is that when I was a kid, I had an influence on people, and I led them, but I was a horrible influence. I led people in a negative way, bro. When I made a post on it the other day, I was actually 13. I said I was 12, but I was 13 years old, and I got myself and all my friends to do mushrooms for the first time. The whole night went. It was fucking horrible. We traded a Juul battery for. I'll get into that fucking story another time. I came into this with one story. I'll get into that story another time. You know what? Fuck it. I'll tell that story because it's even better, honestly. So, let me get at the point that I'm getting at here, then I'll explain that fucking mushroom shit. So, my whole point is that I would lead people down the wrong path. I had a negative influence on them. So, I was the one who was like, hey guys, let's go out and take shrooms. I was that negative influence in that sense. I was the negative influence in the sense that I was known as the 8th grade vape dealer. Everyone came to me if they wanted a vape. I'd get it for them. Starting people on nicotine addictions at fucking, 13, 14 years old. Horrible influence in that sense. And then all throughout high school, from freshman to senior year, like I was the one that progressively like had the group try a new drug. Like as we just got older, like freshman year was like psychedelics. Like, oh, why don't we try acid, man? Let's go out and we did acid every single month to the T, because we read online that if you like fry some serotonin receptors, if you did it like too frequently every week, but a month was like the baseline about the shortest amount of time you should wait. So we fucking timed it out like to the day, like exactly 4 weeks every single weekend. Took acid for like 9 months straight. Fucking just retarded, bro. And then sophomore year, it was blow for the first time. And then it was Molly, and then it was ketamine. It was just like, it was my idea for like all these things too. I was bringing it into the friend group and being like, hey guys, let's all try this shit, And what's kind of sad is like a lot of my friends, like they never really got out of it, dude. Like here I am now. I went off to college and left them all behind. Not like, dude, like it's 85% of my friends in my like friend group, 80%, they all dropped out, bro. They didn't even fucking like graduate. Isn't that crazy? They didn't even do like the whole full 4 years, bro. Like me and my boy George, we graduated together. But then my one friend, we'll call him like Nick. It's not his real name, but he like opted out with the test and got his like GED or something 2 years before. We'll call the other guy freaking Greg, not his real name, but Greg did the same thing sophomore year. He just took his GED, passed out. And then happened to 2 other people too. It was like my whole friend group, like and all of them are still in the same hometown. They're not doing anything. And and some of them are still like just drinking every single day, partying every single day, and like doing these drugs. And like I was always the person that would initiate all these drinking events and drug things. But aside from that, I'm now someone who has a positive influence. So it's really cool to reflect back on that. But back to the story I was going to tell you guys about. So we'll wrap it up with that, just a few minutes. When I was 13 years old, 13. I said I was 12 on Instagram, but I was 13. I just thought about it the other day. I was 13, about to turn 14. And there was this girl that I knew online. She lived in Texas, and she like sent me a Snapchat one day about how she like took acid. And I've always been a curious kid, and I've always wanted to just try shit, especially when just like the girls are involved in shit. So like she sent me that, and I'm like, oh fuck, like I'm gonna impress her. I'm gonna tell her that I'm gonna do shrooms. Plus that just sounds fun. So I was like telling her I was gonna do it, and then she was like, okay. And then I was like, all right, now I gotta figure out how to get shrooms. So me, we'll call one friend Greg, another friend Nicholas, not the real names, but Greg was coming in from Arizona and staying at Nicholas's house for the weekend, and I presented the idea to them. I'm like, guys, we gotta try shrooms. So they were like, all right, where are we gonna get it? I'm like, I know a guy. So I texted the dude on my football team at that time, Pop Warner. This isn't even high school, this is Pop Warner. And I'm like, hey man, like, I know you, like your sister is like about that life. Could you get me some shrooms? And I didn't know that at the time, but like his sister actually grew shrooms in her closet. So he's like, yeah, bro, 100%. And I'm like, cool, like how much do you want for it? And he's like, dude, I know you have a Juul. Like, just trade me the Juul battery. I'll give you a quad of shrooms. And I'm like, bet, dude. So I give him a Juul battery. Like, how much is that at the gas station? Like 15, 20 bucks or some shit. And he gives us a quad of shrooms. Like 7.5 grams, bro. Like 7.5. Like, this thing's fucking massive. And we had to like, dude, we're still kids. We had to skateboard like all the way across the city to get them, and we did. And then we head home. We're thinking, okay, like where are we gonna take them? We're gonna do them at the beach. Like, how's this gonna work? And we're like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna wait. We're all gonna like sleep over at Nicholas's house for the night. Now, I lived just down the street, same neighborhood, so it wasn't really an issue for me. Greg was also sleeping at Nicholas's house, but Greg's mom and Nicholas's mom were like best friends, so all of them were under the same roof. Like it was the four of them. They were staying in the same house, and I was gonna sleep over there too, and we were gonna sneak out at like 2 a.m. So we do that. We sneak out really like 12:30, maybe 1, and we go to this like children's like elementary school, like Christian elementary school. It's like a church and an elementary school. It's connected to our neighborhood. So we go behind the Christian church where we stuff the shrooms, and we don't weigh it out at all, bro, which is not something that you should do with mushrooms. You should always fucking weigh it out and know how much you're taking. And we had no idea about doses. We didn't know what like a 1 gram trip to a 2 gram trip to a 3 gram trip even was. We were just fucking like, we got a quad of shrooms, let's eat it. And Greg at the time, the person from Arizona, was supposed to be our trip sitter. Like, he had never done it before, you know, he was just gonna take care of us, making sure like nothing went wrong. So me and Nicholas, you know, this is my best friend at the time, were just popping these fucking mushrooms, like just going at it. We didn't have like I don't even think we had water, bro. I don't even know if we had water. We were just fucking popping them, and it was disgusting. And you know, we're like sitting on the floor, like it's behind this church, and like it's almost like we're elevated on the 2nd floor on a hill, like just on this like concrete shit with a bunch of twigs and sticks. We're like in the bushes. It's like, it's not a great setting, you know. Like, this is a great setting to take some mushrooms, but it was like in the dark, outside, cold, like on the concrete, just twigs and shit. So it was pretty bad. And you know, we sit there for a while, we chill, and then we start to like just get up. We're like, this is when it starts to kick in, about an hour after. And immediately, like an hour after I eat them, like I'm like not feeling good in my stomach at all. Nicholas is already starting to laugh and like start to have fun, but I'm like, this does not feel good. And the taste was just in my mouth, and I could like feel broken up little twigs from the mushrooms just in my teeth. It's horrible. So we're walking down the hill, going behind the church and back into our neighborhood, you know, walking around the parking lot a little bit, just, you know, talking and shit. And then it like starts to like really kind of come in a little bit. And I'm like, I gotta like lay down somewhere. This is not good. So we go to our neighborhood park. At this point it's like 1:30 a.m., maybe 2. And you know, it's pitch black, it's dark out, it's cold, it's California. And you know, we go to like the swing set, and I'm laying down on the floor because my stomach hurts so much, bro. I just want to like vomit, but I'm not there yet, and I'm starting to just like feel all these feelings I've never felt before. Nicholas, on the other hand, is right next to me, and like he's having the time of his life, dude. He's like fucking like crying, giggling, like snot was coming out of this kid's nose because it was like cold at the same time, and he was like had like a little bit of a cold himself. Like he was just like, he could not stop laughing. He was having the time of his life, and I'm just like bro, like I didn't want to hear his laugh. His laugh was like kind of like making me uncomfortable and everything. And then the trip sitter, Greg, was sitting there looking at Nicholas thinking like, I want to try this shit too. Like that looks too much fun. So we get up, and he's like, hey guys, like I'm gonna take some mushrooms too. And we're even though he's supposed to be our trip sitter, we're like okay, like yeah, absolutely. Like, and Nicholas was like yeah, you gotta do this, man. So we go back to the church to where we stuffed the mushrooms, and our trip sitter, who was supposed to be taking care of us and keeping us from making all these bad decisions, starts to take him too. And as we're walking to like the church to do that, like I'm in this neighborhood, it's the neighborhood that I drive down like every single street, and I was like so confused as to just where I was, because it was one of those California neighborhoods where every single house is the same, every layout and setup is the same. So it's like someone who is in that neighborhood for the first time, they wouldn't know the fuck where they're at. Even though I had grown up in that neighborhood, I didn't know where the fuck I was at. I was just kind of following them. And the pain in my stomach, the fucking urge to vomit that I'd had got so bad, bro. Like I eventually, like I'm like, this is like about to come out. So we get to the point, and Greg is popping his mushrooms. He's actually, we just got it and we started walking back to the park, and he's just like popping them like himself, and I'm like, dude, whatever you do not show me those mushrooms. Like, fucking walk like 20 feet in front of me. I can't smell them, I can't see them. If I do, I'm projectile vomiting. There's no fucking way I don't. And they're like, all right, dude, you're tripping out. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, I'm like, probably the way that we ate it and how much there was left, we probably did about an eighth each for our first time at fucking 13. So I'm like, I'm all in my own head. I'm like wanting to vomit, and they're like way ahead of me. We're walking back to the park from the church, and they're like, I'm not even kidding, bro, like 20 feet ahead of me. And I don't know if it was the wind that hit me or something, but it was dead silent. And then I just heard like the Ziploc bag open, and I waited a few seconds, and I don't know what it was, bro, but I definitely didn't smell it, but it was definitely in my head. I thought that I did, and I just got like a whiff of what it smelled like. And like a fire hydrant, I just projectile vomited onto the fucking floor. Literally like a fire hydrant, like out of a movie or something. I mean, I know I was tripping, but I also know that this was real, and it wasn't just like a little like plop down. It was like projectile fucking like vomit, dude. Insane. It was disgusting. And everyone, and Nicholas and Greg were like, holy shit, dude, like, what the fuck did I just watch? And once that happened, bro, I felt so much better. I'm like, oh, I was like reborn. I was like, all right, I'm feeling better now, let's go. And they're like, okay, like that was really gross, but okay, let's just continue on with the night, I guess. So we get back to the park, and at this point, dude, it's like 2:30, and we're fucking freezing, like so cold, bro. California can get cold. And we look behind us, and we like see the hot tub going for our community pool, and I'm like Brad, or I'm like Nicholas, or I'm like Greg, we gotta go hit that hot tub, we got to. And Nicholas was like, yeah, hell yeah, we do. So we're all like, all right, we don't have a key or anything. You need like a fob to get into our community pool. So we were just like, fuck it, let's hop the fence. So we did, we hopped the fence, and we get in there. I mean, we take off our shirts. We didn't have any like swim trunks or anything. Just went in our boxers, and we hop in the hot tub. And it was like, it felt great. It was fucking awesome. But all of a sudden, I start to feel the urge to shit. After going through that whole thing with my stomach, like wanting to throw up, I now have an urge to just take the worst shit of my life. And I'm like, holy, I gotta go. I'm gonna be right back. So I get up, just walk straight to the bathroom. And I'm not trying to make this sound gross, but like it was the fucking worst shit of my life. Like ridiculous. Like my friends literally heard me from the hot tub like fucking 40 yards out. Like I heard them like laughing in the background like once I was in there, and felt horrible, bro. It was just, my body rejected it completely, bro. Like in both ways, with the vomit and being in the bathroom. Like it was horrible. And I got up, thank God I felt better afterwards. And then when I looked at myself in the mirror, dude, I was just like, my pupils were like this big, like fucking size of quarters. And I look at myself and I'm just like, what is going on, dude? I mean, your brain at 13 years old can barely comprehend what the fuck's going on with that high of a dose, an eighth. I mean, it was just insane. And I get back, and as I'm walking back, Greg's like randomly on the phone. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, who the fuck is like Greg talking to at 3 in the morning at this point, probably, maybe 3:30. And I'm like, that's weird. And then he's like saying like, no, Mom, like we're just at the hot tub right now. And I hear that, and then I look at like Nicholas, and I'm like, is he talking to his mom right now? And he's like yeah. And I'm like, shit, dude. And it turned out that like Greg had like broken his phone or something before the trip coming out to Arizona. So he borrowed his mom. He wanted to have his mom's phone while he was trip sitting us, just so he could scroll through Instagram or just have something to entertain himself. And he took it from her while she was sleeping. And when she woke up in the middle of the night to go find her phone, she didn't have it. So she walked into her bedroom to get it from him, and we weren't there. So she just found another phone to call us from. And fucking, yeah, like she's like, okay, well, I'm coming there right now. And we were like, So I'm like, dude, we're fucked. Like all of our, I'm like, I told them about the mirror and how big my eyes were, my pupils. Told it to them too, and like all their pupils were fucked as well. And I'm like, bro, we are cooked. Then all of a sudden, and this is it's like a 2-minute walk from where she was coming from to the pool. All of a sudden, right after we get off the phone, a security guard pulls up at 3:30 because there happen to be like motion sensors around the hot tub that go off after hours. And this motherfucker like opens up the gate. He's got a flashlight in our eyes and shit. We're all in our boxers, like shortless, no fucking shorts on. Literally 13 years old. And he's shining the light in our eyes and everything. And right when he starts shining that light in our eyes, Greg's mom fucking walks up in her nightgown, like pajamas and everything. And it's like what is going on right now? Like what are you guys doing? And we were like, everyone else were just like, kind of like, and we were like, we didn't know what to do. Like, we were trying to figure out how to put on our shirts, like, but we couldn't. And I was just like, yeah, we had a few drinks, is what I said. I said that out loud. And in my head, that was like the smartest thing that I could say. I'm like, yeah, I'm snitching on us right now, but I'm snitching on us for something that's gonna be like a slap on the wrist rather than something that's gonna be like handcuffs. So I say that, and she's basically like, really? You guys are drinking? Really? Like, oh, come on. And I think the security guard even said like, oh, look, something more than that. But I don't think she picked up on it. And we ended up, I'm like, we're sorry. And she's just like, okay, well, let's just get home. So, I managed to like get my shorts on, my pants on, and then my shirt on, but like backwards. Fucking Greg couldn't even get his pants on or his shirt on, so he just walked home in his boxers. And then Nicholas could only get his pants on, but he walked with no shirt. And then we walked back to the room, the bedroom that we were supposed to be sleeping in, and none of us said a word to each other for like 6 or 7 hours straight. We all just like laid back. Like I was sleeping on the floor with Greg, Nicholas had his bed, and we were just staring at the ceiling, like listening to just like the cars go by on the street. We literally didn't say a word to each other. We were so scared, so paranoid about what was gonna happen the next day. And they just like punished us with like doing chores, like cleaning a boat or some shit the next day, because they thought we were really drinking. And to this day, they still don't even know that story. Our parents never found out. They just thought that we drank that night. So that's my story about mushrooms. I have more. I have so many of these stories that I just want to share. I think they're like just kind of like funny. Honestly, they're entertaining. I don't condone them all, but it was a part of my life. So I mean, I share everything. But that's all I got for you guys. It's already late as shit, 22 minutes. I gotta go to bed, but peace out. See you tomorrow. Whole point of this message is just, fucking, I used to be that negative influence. I was the guy that suggested we do all that stuff. It made us mature, honestly. It grew us up. It accelerated the process of growing up. We did mushrooms at 13, and for me that made me grow up a lot faster. I got it out of my system at a very young age, to the point where when I got to college and kids were like just now figuring out what mushrooms were, I was like, fuck this. I'm gonna go start up a business and make money and get jacked and go sober, So now I'm in my 20s and I can start that a lot earlier. So that's my whole point. I used to have the worst negative influence, but now I have a super positive influence. That's the whole thing. Love you guys. Peace out. We'll see you on the next video.